So previously, I was covering a story about prisoners' mental health, and I just learned a lot from that. I learned a lot of current prisoners turn to art to help them rehabilitate, and this just really resonated with me. I felt like it needed a lot more research because the reason I related to it so much is because I come from a dance and drama background, and I just knew how much dancing and performing helped my mental health. So I just felt that using art as a rehabilitation tool for prisoners just needed a lot more investigation. So I reached out to this charity and they were really, really helpful. They were like, oh, I know someone that can help you with that. No problem. And they gave me this guy's contact number and they were like, speak to Stephen Greer and he'll tell you all about it. What age were you when you first started like cutting it out and things like that?
15. That's just an ounce, like, but no, and you could cut it. It was an ounce of blow, but that's what I left school with, how to cut blow. Basically. So it just progressed from there, and then started getting involved then, back into the drugs, so then got approached by paramilitaries in our area, loads of paramilitaries, because when you're growing up in that sort of them areas, if you're selling gear or you're doing drugs, you quickly come under the radar of them, like, because they're
What
all
age were you when they approached you?
18, 19. I can't even. It's hard to say in around that age anyway. Ended up joining the Lord's Paramilitary Organisation. Joined the UDA, to be honest.
Did you just do that like out of? Did you just think? Yeah,
No,
why
but you
not?
knew, no, you
Was
knew.
it just out of fear?
It's either
Was
start
it?
dealing with them or you're going to get clipped. No.
His story is just really interesting. Story. Well, it's not even interesting. It's just so unique. Just not everyone. Not everyone's been a prisoner, and not everyone has known what it's like to not have a choice because Stephen made a lot of his decisions through out of fear from what he told us.
But so it was mainly through that. But the more criminal side would come over, the more things you got involved in, and then it affected you in a big way. But back then you thought it was normal. See the So things just started getting deeper and deeper. The troubles were getting on, and then you're getting involved in the harder crime. The more that sort of stuff you see, the more things you witness, the more things go on. It just starts blackening your heart, and you start getting switched. Like see during them feuds, I think there's one of the feuds, the LFA feud, there was 16 people killed. So there was. So you're going to funerals all the time. You're going here, you're going there. People are dying. It just turn you switch off.
They're scary people, they're frightening, and I can't imagine what it's like for one of them people to come up to you and just say you have to belong to us, you have to join us.
So I call it prison. Prison's like a university of life. You can go in as a small town petty theft first time, and you're being housed with some of the biggest gangsters and bank robbers. You've got people in from all different drug dealers. So you can go in there with a mindset that you want to change and you want to improve, or you can go in there with and then start meeting contacts, meeting people who are better at what to do. And you can use it as an education to learn to enhance your career as a criminal. So you can quite easily.
From talking to Stephen, I wanted to find out what the current options for rehabilitation are. I spoke with Rebecca Ewan, who is a forensic psychologist and has been for over 10 years. She was able to tell me about what some of the key psychological factors that are in rehabilitation.
For any kind of rehabilitation, whether it be art or anything, one of the main factors is, does the person want to do it? First of all, the programs that I delivered when I was working in the prison system were very much based on research and empirical evidence. So the offender behaviour programs were changing and adapting and adjusting depending on what research was coming out to say what was effective. So that's good that it was a flexible approach, dynamic, and it was open to change. We just didn't deliver the same thing. We adjusted what we delivered. It not only talks about changing someone's behaviour, but it talks about accepting who you are, and how you accept who you are is through a number of extra type of techniques, and one of them is mindfulness. And I'm sure you've heard mindfulness and the benefits of mindfulness. And mindfulness helps our clients really become more aware of what those thoughts and feelings are that are leading to a behavior. So if they're aware of them, they can then change them. And then you have to think about what are the features in that person's background that led to that through their childhood, developmentally, in school, with their siblings, in the community, because there will be features that are similar for a lot of people. When you look back, what are the features that led to this person committing a particular crime?
What really stuck out to me was what she said about mindfulness and for someone to accept their behaviours, which I think you can see in Stephen's artwork. So for Rebecca to say that, for someone, that's how you fully rehabilitate, is that you accept your behaviours, and then to see that in Stephen's artwork specifically.
It was just shit, no, and that's when the people don't realise how bad it comes when it comes. No, it's not a nice world. It's not life. So I had just been fed up with it, and it was just like, I'm changing I'm going to get educated and try and get a decent job and try and like, start to get away from it. And that's whenever I met Alison Wilson, the art teacher in McGilligan, and then started my art properly. And that's when my art took off big. And then from then, just started doing my art. Alison was struggling with cancer too, so sometimes she was off, but I would have done a lot of work on myself as well. No, took work up, painted.
I honestly do think, just from listening to him, I think it definitely helped him survive prison. It was an escapism for him. It was an outlet. It was a healthy way of him expressing himself. Whereas before, I don't think he had that. I don't think he knew how to externally get it all out, and because everyone needs to express themselves. It's not just people who have committed crime. Everyone needs an outlet. Everyone needs to escape their own heads sometimes.
He was always planting seeds. No, I don't know, about God, about this, and about that, and all. And I was just like, whatever, no, blah, blah, blah. My mum was always planting seeds too. Like, I went growing up, I went to Sunday school, went to things like that, no, until I got to about 11, 12, and then it was just like, nah, I'm no interest, no. I took acid one night on an alpha, running about an acid off my head, and then I had this spiritual encounter in my jail cell, and I thought death had came for me, to be honest. I felt like darkness had closed around my cell, and I thought it was death. So I just says, listen, I'm not afraid to die, I never have been, never have. Well, I said, so if you're going to take me, hurry up and take me. I couldn't give a fuck, whatever. That's the way it was. So, and I was like, listen, I've done a lot of bad in my life, a lot of wrong. And I says, I realise that now, but at the time, I was always believed I was doing the right thing, and it was justified. I says, I never went out to be a bad person, and I've never hurt anybody for the wrong reasons. Maybe it was wrong. And I says, fair enough, but I never done it with bad intentions to be a bad person. But I was like, if you're going to take me, just take me. But then it started changing. I don't know why, and I don't know how. And I just says, listen, you need to prove to me, if you exist, that there's something bigger than us. And I says, if you can prove to me you exist, I says, give me a son and a career in art. And I says, that's all I'm good at. And I said, if you give me that, I'll give up my criminality. Art got me through my sins. Basically, I just drew and painted the whole time. So it did. And then, coming up to Christmas 2015, and a governor came walking into us. Usually, a governor in jail, they look at you down your nose and they don't even speak to you. They think you are something. But this boy came in, governor, really laid back, brilliant crack. And he says, listen, can you do me a favour? He was looking to do a project, and we were like, what is it? And he was like, about the Holocaust. And we were like, right, no, sounds interesting, we'll do that. He brought me and a couple of other prisoners who I wouldn't name, but we weren't in for playing tiddlywinks. One of us was a convicted of murder, one of us was in for a couple of pineapple grenades, machine gun. He's actually a Catholic. Me and him didn't really get on to start, but we ended up pestering. I was out with him until Friday night, and so ended up coming really good. He's from Cali, Terra, so he was, and then things like that. But it just shows you how much art can bring people together as well too. So we done this Holocaust project. We done it. We thought happy days. That's it, done and done. No, that's usually in the jail when you do something. the jail take over and they'll get all the credit, blah blah blah. Because we were starting to bring school children in to take the school children around to teach them about Holocaust Day. So we went over, set it up, and we thought, right then on, that's us. No, we're going to get told to go home. And Million was like, nah, apologies, you're doing it. No, you're the ones doing it. We were like, what? No, no way. And so then he says, yes, he says, this is your project, you've done it, so you're being part of it. So it did, and that had such an impact on my life, to be honest, because doing that started with a personal change in my being too, and then there's things starting to happen. And then the first thing I really know, I was lying in my bed watching a fucking film about a dog or something, and the dog died, and a tear coming down my cheek, and I was like, what's going on? There's something not right with me, what the hell's going on? What's happening? Because I had never, I used to go to funerals, family funerals and all, it didn't even affect you. You were switched on, my heart was black. In that situation, in that lifestyle, that's the way you have to be to deal with it. That's how you have to live it. No, people get hurt, things happen. No, to be able to go through that, you need to adapt to be in that lifestyle. No, and it's shit. Because see, being like that, it's crap. But see, with emotion coming back and stuff like that, it actually makes life harder because you care about people now and you care about things. So you find yourself, I would say, it's not weak, but you would find yourself easier hurt.
As I said, it got out of his hands, and I think he stopped feeling emotion. And that's one thing, a human should really never stop is feeling emotion, because that it's like that moral compass, that our conscience, to know what's good, what's bad, what's wrong, what's right. And if you're just immune to that, you have no remorse. That's quite scary. And I think to say, and even his words, he said his heart blackened, where he didn't feel anything anymore. Yeah, he absolutely needed help, and I think he recognised that for sure, definitely.
So that was whenever I started meeting prison arts up in McGilligan, and then Fred Caulfield. He's the director of prison arts. Fred was an ex-Life Work governor, so he was in charge of all life sentence prisoners in Northern Ireland, with anybody in for murder. He dealt with. He was their governor, so that would have been an interesting job. So it would have.
And the whole basis of Prison Arts Foundation is to transform people's lives who are in custody while in prison and in the community, to give them bring back their self-awareness and self-esteem. So it's the benefits it gets. I know we get criticised by probably the community because they're blaming the prison Department of Justice putting money into the prisons to help what they think is a hobby. But it's not. We don't use it as a hobby. We use it as a benefit to the person to get the best out of them, to change their thinking patterns, and get them ready for release to back in the community safely. In my mind, there's so much more that we can do through art, through therapy, through talking to them, to find out what makes them tick, what makes them going to be better people. Just give them a different mindset. You have people in prison who are frustrated, and you've heard of people trying to self-harm or cut themselves, whatever. When we go through it and work, and they do some of the work with us, so they get to in their cell or write a poem or do it stops all that. It gives them the release is through their art as opposed to through a blade or cutting themselves. And that itself means a lot. If you only stop one person doing it, it's well worth it.
I attended one of Prison Arts Foundation's exhibitions, and I was immensely impressed by the brilliant work that was produced.
Prison arts plays a massive, massive part, but unfortunately now they're getting cut with prisons again, I think. But the first thing they do, they cut prison arts, but the prison looks at it now, they want to see tick boxes, they want to see results. And I say to them, see if you want to see a result for leisure classes, I'm living proof. And not only me, there's 14 of us, there's 12 of us took part in the Holocaust exhibition. There's only one of us that's reoffended, and he only reoffended shortly after he got out, and he's now running his own business. Not one of us has been back in prison. No, no. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't immediate. You didn't just turn your life around thing. No, it started a journey of progressing. No, You know what I mean? To go through, like I'm still far from perfect. No, I'm not. Don't claim to be in any way, shape, or form. No, no, nobody is. But you try, at least you try. Which to me is an important thing. No, no. Like when I met that prisoner, that Pierce, he actually wrote. He was a secret artist, and he wrote a poem about it. They told me he wrote a poem about the secret artist, and then I went into the art room while you were on camera, and he read it out, and it was about me. And I was trying to fight back the tears and thing. I couldn't believe it because it was just. It's what I set out to do. It was my fucking feeling about emotional by myself. I felt when I left jail, my main goal, my main goal was to get back into prison to try and help, to do what Alison had done for me, and he more or less confirmed it. No, no, sorry. I know you're alright. No, 100%. No, it just gets me a bit from touches a bit. No, no, like it does because that was my main goal. Like you get out to do that. No, no. And the poem he wrote more or less confirmed to me. Like he says, after watching The Secret Artist, he took up art. He was a creative writer, a poet. He never done art, but he says he'll never be back in prison. Whether he does or not, that's up to him. But at least it's given the mindset that he wants to change. But that's, to me, it's the most important thing because that's the people who my message needs to get through to. That's the message needs to get. It's people like that who needs to see that there is a way out. There is a way to change your life. You just have to try. Know what I mean?
Art helps people escape their really harsh, painful reality, escape their pain, be able to separate their feelings from everything else and just put their feelings out onto a page. It helps them give that acceptance of what they've gone through because it leads to other things that are so essential to human life. Finding people who believe in them, finding a community, finding friendship, finding a support system, all of that, it leads to what humans need to survive and so that nobody goes alone. And so I think if it starts with art, it should definitely continue.